Have you ever wondered why some people are so afraid to tell the truth about Aries? What if I told you there are 7 truths about this sign that most people prefer to hide? Aries is one of the most misunderstood signs of the zodiac, and today you'll discover exactly what no one has the courage to admit about them. If you stick around until the end of this video, you'll understand why Aries acts the way they do and how it can completely transform the way you relate to them. But if you leave now, you'll still be left without knowing the secrets that make all the difference when dealing with an Aries. Get ready because some of these truths may completely surprise you. Truth 1. The first truth no one dares to say about Aries is that they're addicted to conflict. It's not that they like to fight out of spite, but because confrontation makes them feel alive. Aries needs adrenaline, a challenge, something that takes them out of their comfort zone. When everything is too calm and peaceful, they literally get bored. Imagine an Aries in a super harmonious work environment where everyone agrees on everything. They'll start questioning decisions, proposing changes, and creating debate. It's not because they're against the grain, but because they need that energy for movement and transformation. It's as if conflict is the fuel that keeps them going. The benefit of this is that Aries excels at breaking paradigms and bringing innovation. When everyone else is complacent, they emerge with a different perspective that can revolutionize everything. This need for conflict makes them natural leaders in crisis situations because while others stagnate, they thrive in turbulence. Truth 2. The second truth is that Aries are masters at starting projects, but terrible at finishing them. They have explosive energy at the beginning of any endeavor, but once the novelty wears off, they completely lose interest. It's as if they were made to light fires, not keep them burning. Have you ever met an Aries who started 1,000 courses, hobbies, and projects and never finished any of them? This happens because they are driven by the excitement of new things. When something becomes routine, when it requires persistence instead of enthusiasm, they simply abandon it and move on to the next adventure. It's a trait that can greatly frustrate those around them. But here's the superpower. Aries are the best primers there is. They can get ideas off the ground, start movements, and create momentum where there was none. The key is to always put them in positions where they can start new things and let others take over. Then they do what they do best without getting frustrated with monotony. If you've made it this far, please like the video and subscribe to the channel by activating the bell so you don't miss any content about the signs. Let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know where our followers are around the world. Truth 3. The third truth is that Aries are extremely selfish, but in a way that can actually be positive. They always put their own needs first, not because they don't care about others, but because they genuinely believe that if they don't take care of themselves first, they won't have the energy to care for anyone else. This trait manifests itself in simple, everyday situations. If an Aries is hungry, they'll eat first and then ask if you want anything. If they're tired, they'll rest even if they promise to help you with something. To many, this may seem inconsiderate, but to Aries, it's just pure logic. The benefit of this apparent coldness is that Aries never sacrifices themselves to the point of becoming bitter or resentful. They maintain their vital energy, which allows them to be genuinely generous when they choose to help someone. Unlike those who sacrifice and then demand payment, Aries helps because they want to, not out of obligation. Truth 4. The fourth truth is that Aries are extremely impatient, and this affects every aspect of their lives. They want everything now, they can't wait, and they don't know how to deal with slow processes. This impatience manifests itself in everything from simple things like waiting for a traffic light to more complex issues like professional development. An Aries who decides to learn something new expects to master it in a week. If they decide to change careers, they want to be in their new position the following month. They don't understand that some things need time to mature, to develop naturally. This leads them to make hasty decisions and often give up on things that could have worked if they had more patience. However, this impatience is also their strength in a world that increasingly values speed. Aries can make quick decisions, act without endlessly second-guessing themselves, and seize opportunities that others miss by overthinking. In dynamic environments, they are unbeatable because they don't get paralyzed by analysis. Truth 5. The fifth truth is that Aries are brutally honest, even when it hurts. They can't fake it, they can't lie convincingly, and they think it's a waste of time to beat around the bush. If you ask an Aries for their opinion, be prepared to hear the raw, unfiltered, and undiplomatic truth. Imagine you just got a haircut and ask an Aries friend what they thought. If it looks awful, they'll tell you it's awful. They won't make excuses or try to sugarcoat it. For them, lying to spare feelings is a form of disrespect because they believe everyone deserves to know the truth so they can make the right decisions. The superpower of this honesty is that you always know where you stand with an Aries. There are no games, no ulterior motives, no manipulation. What you see is what you get. In a world full of deceit, this is a relief. When an Aries compliments you, you can be sure they mean it. When they criticize, it's to help you improve. Truth 6. The sixth truth is that Aries are adrenaline junkies, and this leads them to take unnecessary risks. They can't live a predictable life. They need excitement, danger, and situations that get their heart racing. This can range from extreme sports to risky financial decisions or complicated relationships. This need for adrenaline makes Aries get into situations that more cautious people would avoid. They're capable of betting everything on a business venture, moving to another country without any concrete plans, or ending a stable relationship because it was getting monotonous. For them, a safe life is a dead life. But this characteristic also makes them pioneers, trailblazers, people who break new ground that others wouldn't dare to tread. Aries are the ones who test new markets, create trends, and break barriers. Their willingness to take risks always puts them at the forefront of social and professional change. Truth 7. The seventh and final truth is that Aries are incapable of holding a grudge, even when they should. They explode, fight, and say whatever they think in the heat of the moment, but then completely forget what happened. It's as if they have the emotional memory of a goldfish. This can be frustrating for those around them, especially if the hurt person needs time to process the situation. An Aries might have a terrible argument with you in the morning and call you that afternoon to invite you to lunch, as if nothing had happened. They don't do this out of malice, but because they're truly moving on. For them, the conflict was resolved the moment it was expressed. There's no need to dwell on it or hold grudges. The benefit of this is that Aries are incapable of being vengeful or manipulative. They don't hoard information to use against you later, they don't plot ways to harm you, and they don't carry the weight of the past. This ability to forgive and forget makes them lighthearted, without the emotional burden many carry for years. Now that you know these 7 truths about Aries, can you understand why they act the way they do? Which of these traits do you recognize in an Aries you know? Or perhaps you're an Aries yourself and resonate with some of these truths. Remember that knowing these characteristics isn't for judgment, but for better understanding. Each sign has its own peculiarities, challenges, and superpowers. The important thing is knowing how to handle each energy positively, harnessing the best each person has to offer. If you live with an Aries, use this knowledge to create more harmonious and productive relationships.